My name is Elizabeth Lawhorn. I'm the Director of Performance Development at APHA. I manage the Regional Championship Program, as well as a few other programs in the Performance Department, such as eShows, PAC, and Horse IQ. The APHA Regional Championship Program underwent a number of changes this year, so we thought it would be a great opportunity to spend the evening walking through the program. If anyone's familiar with the Paint Horse Championship Program, this is what that program was renamed to, along with a handful of other revisions. So as a quick roadmap, we'll explore the purpose of the Regional Championship Program, what shows host the program, who can show in the classes, as well as what those exhibitors receive, our favorite thing. We believe that the heart of the association is at the local level. So it's very important to us to support the regional clubs by encouraging people to support their local clubs' shows. This program aims to accomplish that purpose by encouraging amateur and youth exhibitors to participate in their regional club sponsored shows and awards those exhibitors for their success at the local level. One APHA Regional Championship can be held in each zone each year. Each zone coordinating committee works together to decide which regional club sponsored 1, 2, 3, or 4 judge shows or circuits that can host the regional championship classes. The regional championship cannot be held at a zone show though, except for in zones 10, 11, or 12. Oftentimes, the zone coordinating committee will come up with some kind of system that works for their zone. Sometimes it's drawing straws for which regional clubs show will get to host the program, or sometimes they'll come up with a rotation of some sort that each year a different club gets to host the program. So once that zone decides which show or circuit will be hosting the regional championship, that show or circuit will get to decide which regional champion classes they'd like to hold that year, and then they'll submit their application as well as the show bill reflecting the classes that they plan to hold. They can choose any amateur or youth class that they'd like, and the championship classes can be held either concurrently with their respective APHA approved class, or they can be held separately. If they decide to hold them separately, then they can't be held back to back with the corresponding APHA approved class. That way exhibitors competing in both will have at least one class in between. The awards presentation must be held in the arena after the class or after the classes of the last show in the circuit, if it's held at a circuit. Once the results of the championship classes are received by staff, we'll be posting the regional champions in each class from each of the zones on the program's webpage, and I'll pull that up at the end of the webinar so that we can take a look at it. So once an exhibitor finds out that their zone will be holding a regional championship program at one of their shows, they can figure out if they'll be eligible, what classes that they might be eligible to compete in. So it's open to amateur and youth exhibitors who have current APHA memberships and the appropriate amateur or youth cards if needed for their division. And then they can show their paint that meets their amateur or youth ownership requirements. The exhibitors need to be living in the zone that the regional championship is held, and they need to meet the following class eligibility requirements. Now, these eligibility class requirements are on a per class basis. So if you're ineligible for one class based on these rules, you could still be eligible for other regional championship classes. Those two stipulations are that you cannot have placed in the top 5 at an APHA or AJPHA World Show in the past 5 years, or you cannot have won a regional championship class, or in the past it was called the Paint Horse Championship class, in the previous year. So I'll give an example. If Susie was reserve world champion in youth Western pleasure in 2019, or if she won the regional or paint horse championship youth Western pleasure class last year in 2020, she would not be eligible to compete in the regional championship youth Western pleasure class this year in 2021. But she could potentially show in the regional championship youth hunter under saddle class because she did not compete in the regional championship class the previous year, and she came in 7th in youth hunter under saddle at the 2019 AJPHA World Show, as an example. And of course, what everybody wants to know, what could they win? The APHA sponsors up to 10 beautiful gift regional champion buckles for each zone for this program. Shows are more than welcome to hold more than 10 regional championship classes and would be responsible for sponsoring the additional champion buckles. Shows that do this will often find local sponsors or a group of people to sponsor that additional buckle cost. So the applications that shows will use to apply for the regional championship classes, the currently approved regional championship, as well as the current year's regional champions will all be found on the program's page at the following address. It's apha.com/program/regional championship program. If anyone's interested in hosting the program in their zone or showing in it and has any questions, they are more than welcome to send me an email. My email is elawhorn@apha.com. And if we have some time, I can answer some questions once I take a look at the webpage with you guys. So let me get out of here. Here you can see the regional championship webpage that we built. You can access it by going to apha.com and then click on the showing tab and scroll down to the regional championship program menu item. You'll find all of the same eligibility requirements that I just went over, as well as the show or circuit eligibility, and then their management guidelines and the awards that we offer. Once the shows get approved, or the regional championships, that is, get approved, they'll be listed here so that people know what zones will be holding a regional championship program. And then as we get those results, like I mentioned earlier, each zone will have a section where I'll post all of the champions from the classes that were held. And then here you can see we have a one or two page flyer that summarizes all of these criteria that you can share with your zone or your regional club if you're interested in them holding the program. There's also an online and a PDF version of the regional championship application. It's very similar to the ones in years past for the paint horse championship program. And then the template that we would like to see the results submitted to us in. This is a quick look at the application. If you're holding it for a circuit, we would ask that you just put the information for the first show here where it asks for all of the show information, and then attach an additional page that describes that same information for the other shows that will be in the circuit. And then of course, attaching a show bill that reflects where those classes will be held during your show.